Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And welcome to this next space of your adventure, right? We just got a big energy surge in. I did. Right before we were to come on. That's why I'm delayed even further. It's a day. It's a day. So like I don't know, about 20 minutes ago, this really intense, awesome, euphoric energy moved through my body, in particular down through the root chakra space. Like that was really amazing. Um, I looked and we haven't had any, I mean, we had a spike in the Schumann later, a couple of hours ago or so, but it's not anything really to speak of that would have lasted this long anyway. So anyway, I don't know, something's going on right now in the ethers. Really cool energies are coming in. Welcome everybody. I can't read anyone's previous comments before I came on, unless I go on to YouTube and look at it as a participant. So it's something that this silly thing has been doing. So let me go and try to read it through my phone real quick. Hello. Oh, Carmen was first. Wait. I lost it. It's so annoying doing it on my phone. Okay, it keeps us saying top messages. Okay, let's go. I think it was Carmen who's first. Oh, Vegan Vixen is first. Hello, Vegan Vixen. How is everyone? Carmen, oh, Carmen, where are you? And there he is. Nah, I was first, says Carmen. I just waited. Messages. Okay, let's okay, go. Seriously? I think it was. Anyway, I'm trying. Hello everybody who commented. I see that Leah's here, Spiritual Warrior's here, Shermany's here. Uh, good to see everybody. Sarah's here, Healing with Jesus. Hello. Um, there's a lot. Hi April. Hi Julie. There is so much. Yes. The joint thing. Okay, so let me see. BMC says the joint thing. Um, joints are a bit achy, emotional, feeling just off. That's a really good comment. I'm glad I went back and read the ones that are written before I got on. So thank you for bearing with me while I tried to like multitask in the weird world of technology. I used to be known as like a geek. Like I was the person people would say, "Hey, there's something wrong with my computer," and then I went off grid. And technology continued to advance without me. I mean, I came from a Microsoft family. That's where my dad worked, and so um yeah, I now I'm really behind in the times. And so I do my best. And we figure it out as we go. Anyway, so this joint thing that uh uh BMC had commented on this. So a lot of people are having this right now. As this I don't know if it's new energy or whatever, but some extra energy than was coming through us before is coming through us. And while that's happening, a lot of the things that like weren't really bothersome before or whatever, things that were like kept in the spare room kind of thing. Well, now we have more energy coming in to stay. And so we have to empty out this spare room from all of the storage, and that's kind of what's happening in our bodies. All of this awesome energy is coming in. And so the things that didn't cause disruption before are asking to go. And so while this is happening, hey, it's 2:22 p.m. my times in the arc world over here. Um, anyway, so what's happening though, just like the corners of your room, how when you're clearing energy from a building or some kind of structure, typically the energy gets stuck, or it's more collected in the corners, in like of the bedroom or whatever you're doing. And so you'll spend more time focusing on doing sacred geometry there with your sage, or spending time with higher frequency bowls, singing bowls, things like that. Anyway, those corners are the same as our joints. And so as this energy is coming in, this is kind of where it's collecting, and it's moving out, it is leaving, so it's just it doesn't feel very good. So how do we resolve this? This is actually really simple. Pulling in the loving light of God, like we do when we go into meditation, pulling it in from every direction, kind of like the beams of light around me in the background I have, pulling it in from all directions into you, and then collecting it as a ball in the area of disruption where it hurts, and there's a reason that our body swells, like it swells up when it's hurt, is that light glows where water flows, is what they say to me, and the light is what heals. And so our body will swell, water will naturally go there to accommodate the need for so do this with intention as well. You don't have to have swelling in your body to do it. We also will put our hand on a place that hurts. This is directing the light there. Okay. The strongest hand that you have is the left hand. And so if you are thinking it through in that moment, they both work. This is the giving hand of the energy. And so putting your left hand on the area while you're drawing the light as an orb to the area, like you're blowing up a balloon, bigger and bigger, space will resolve the issue. It makes it, it's like a declogging. Like, what is that magic plumber or whatever it is, people, Drano. Like, I haven't used anything like that in a long time. And anyway, it's like kind of like that to help the light move, or excuse me, to help the densities, you could call them. They look like little specks of shadow that are like specks of sand in most cases. And sometimes they look bigger just because they're like gathering together, you know? So anyway, as a really good question, a really good comment. BMC, I think is who said it. So let's go to, hello, everybody. I'm catching up now. Sharmony, hello. Vegan Vixen, talking to April. Spiritual warrior. My hamstrings are burning today. Interesting that you should say that. This lower chakral space, particularly the root chakra, is radiating down. There's something about this moving down. In fact, I'm going to be just complete, because I say things that sometimes offend people because I'm just so blunt and up front and just straight up. But the need for release right before I came onto my live was that, just without even really considering it, all of a sudden I needed to double click the mouse, man. I needed a root chakra release. And we have a physical way to assist this energy moving through, and that's one of them. It can feel disruptive after a time of not releasing, like anything. It's similar to like a big zit or something, or like a geyser that's been blocked or something. There's an energy that just needs to flow. And so this is the way I do it. And so there's other ways to do it. A lot of times in meditation, I'll also remember to send the energy down through my root chakra like a big light. That's a root, digging and digging like a tree down through the many layers of Gaia. This is also a way to pull this energy through this way. It's asking us to do it, in whatever way works for you. So I got no shame about that. I don't think that's, like, everybody does that. Like, what is the big deal about that anyway? Like, really, like why is it such a big, ooh, if someone masturbates, then there's something wrong with them, but everybody does it. That's like passing judgment on somebody for farting. Everyone does it. Like, so it's just, I've never understood that. Hi, Leah. Greetings, beautiful people. What an awesome reset energy coming in. Whoop, whoop. You're feeling it too, huh? I'm happy you're feeling it. This is really fun right now. It feels fun. I'm really enjoying this. Good to see you, sweetheart. Spiritual warrior. Hello, Mila, and beautiful souls. Hello, sweetie. Good to see you here. Authentic you, exploring the dimensions, crazy energies. Whoa, I know. And they're coming in bigger. Okay, so this is that. We're in the window now. We're here. This is the day window. So we say day, and then we're talking about usually like anywhere from 7 to 3 days. There's always a day before it and a day after it at the very least. So there's always 3 days of this energy kind of window. It just, like an example that everyone is pretty familiar with. Usually, most of the people, the first thing that they become aware of is Lionsgate, which is on August 8th. And that's an 8-8 portal. And there's a lot of really beautiful and impactful things. Um, but we also notice it happening before the 8th, and we notice it happening after the 8th, right? And so the same is true for these other things. Um, anyway, so what the energy window we're in right now started technically yesterday, I would say. It's a window in a window in a window because it's all happening and blending together at the same time. And then tomorrow is the Jewish Passover and the forest thing Elsa was talking about on that live I did with her on Wednesday. If those of you who didn't catch it, I did a show with Elsa. That was a fun conversation. We would have talked longer if I didn't have a previous engagement, right? I think I had a group right after that. And so I was, I had to wrap it up. But yeah, so she talked about this window of time we're in a little bit more articulately than I can. I just get pointed. Spirit shows me windows, uh, moments in the calendar, and I just know they're pretty. And then I'll then find out what it is later on, though I was told, so this is one of those windows. And this goes through again, there's another one into Wednesday, the 24th of this on the Northern Hemisphere. I believe it's the day before for the Southern Hemisphere. Anyway, just a lot happening. The comet's really close to where people can see it now in Australia. So the Australia, because it had to go chunk. It didn't just go chunk. It's chunk when the energy comes in like that. I guess I can start calling the my Oz friends conks. That was actually my high school conquerors, conks, with a Q. That's kind of funny. That was random that came out there. So yeah, crazy energies. Thanks for comment. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you, sweetie. You're amazing. Oh, thank you. So good to see you. I love all of you so much. Like the energy is coming. Oh, by the way, I put up, it was really in the moment, like just right before I was, that's actually when the energy started to come through the root chakra so strong. I was outside just kind of clearing my energy for this conversation. And I saw something really beautiful in the sky, the way that the clouds were. There's actually ancient ruins written in the clouds above this tree. And so I took that photograph and wanted to post it. And then I just, how when you start to write, if there's something to be said through you, it starts coming out. So it turned in, it was kind of like a channel on parts of it. So anyway, that's in Telegram. I put it on YouTube and on Facebook. So that's really amazing. That happened. And then all of a sudden this amazing energy started coming in, and it's just, it's not stopping. It's really, hello, Christina. Good to see you. Okay, let's find a question. Oh, circuit update per Jason Estes. Okay, we should check that out. Thank you very much. Jason Estes he's a very intellectual speaker, and so some people they find him kind of off-putting. But I don't really understand a lot of what he says. But people say that about me, especially if I'm talking with Elsa. Though I do find a lot of the way he measures stuff is different than the way I do. Like he has numbers and stuff, and those numbers do signify these other octaves that I'm being shown. So he's good. He's pretty neat, so if you want to check him out. I don't really follow anyone in particular. I actually very rarely even watch content. It's kind of become a thing. Hi, Ralph. Hi, Mila. Hi, all. Love from Scotland. Good to see you. Hey, Ralph, you're in Scotland. I was just curious. I was getting some stuff about Scotland last night. Like I was trying to hold that in and I had to cough it out instead. So I'm just going to say it. There's some energy shifts that's going on down there right now. Like there's an ancient site there that's being activated. It looks like kind of like a mechanism. You could call it an artificial magnet. that's like an ancient thing that I just started getting a whole bunch of stuff about it. And I'm just curious. Like, I mean, I know I'm feeling something right now that just started like, 20 minutes ago, but I'm just curious if there's something more because there was some, I get that kept me in this in between place between dream state and waking state for most of the night last night. So good to see you, Ralph. Um, Zen light spurts of itchy head. Hey, that's interesting. Me too. Back and body. So I'm having this a lot. And, I'm in a different place and they got like a lot of ticks here and different kinds of ticks. And there's like these microscopic ones. And like there's like this tick thing and that I'm not real versed in. I mean, even though in Washington we did have something like that, I spent most of my adult life in Utah, which they don't. Like ticks aren't a thing. So anyway, um, I keep thinking that I'm getting bit by a tick, and then I start thinking it was psychosomatic. That I'm just like, like you get when you're watching one of those scary movies, and they like make you like wait for it, and because you have to anticipate that makes you jump, and it's really annoying that they got you. That's kind of what I was thinking I was doing to myself. So thank you for saying that. I don't always know if an ascension symptom is an ascension symptom. Until you say it out loud and someone else says me too and someone else says me too, then you're like, oh, and like we've been taught, we've been conditioned to explain away all of the things that we go through, all of them in a very short time in in the world of us in our short history. I mean, within the past 100 years we've been taught a whole different world, 200 years in particular, especially since like the late 1800s, and there was another one in the 50s. Anyway, um so uh yeah, why I don't know what I went on about. Oh yeah, so the itching stuff, it spurts. It's like it feels like a bite. It's like a teeny one here and there, and it's not like it's not bad hygiene or anything like that, and it does, and then it just you go there, and I feel like so in the earlier when this type of thing was happening, when I was in a place where I wasn't concerned about it, and this happened last year, and we talked about it as kind of like a mosquito bite almost feeling just for a second sometimes. Um, and it was something about changing our frequency and our energy. I'll have to go back. Oh, I don't have my notes anymore. I left everything. I threw everything away before I moved here. Um, Interesting. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm going to ponder this a bit. This is fascinating. It happened before, and it had to do with clearing, some kind of purging, and then feeling the higher frequency, similar to this. Um, Yay! I got a new word, by the way. So I asked for the word. We keep calling it dizzy, and it's not dizzy. It's like I don't know how floaty. They told me floaty, and I was like, that's a word I used to use. Why did I not have that word any longer? Um, yeah, it's floaty. So that's what it feels like in that way, and then it also physically feels like beep 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 beep, beep like here and there, and it's not like all at the same time either. This is the same thing, I think. Thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. Zenlight, waking up to weird dreams. Yes, yes, yes. Fighting with past people who have been cruel to me. I've been finding that I've been working through a lot of things recently in this dream state. I've been really, really surprised by it. Um, some of the dreams that I've been having are dreams that you would call normal dreams, where you're working through something in the past. I hadn't been having dreams like that for a while. It'd been more of like, and I've still been having these as well, but I've been having more of like, we're in conference. There's a council. There's a group of people, either around a table or in a circle or something like that, and sharing and comparing ideas and giving information so the other person can do something. Like that's typically what my dreams are about, and this astral space, because it's provable in some regard, where I'm taught new information and then I go look it up in a waking state. And it's like, that's actually real. Okay. And like, so yeah, there's a, um, and so there's us resolving these things. What you're talking about is called in a intentional way. It's called quantum healing. What quantum healing is truly going back to the moments in these past places that where there was some injustice felt, or something like this, or and taking your power back, reimagining the story like a daydream in a way, and being in that space again, re-experiencing it, and this time changing the story. And you're not brainwashing yourself to believe something different. It's simply taking back these, what they call fractals, soul shards of your soul. People, you fractal. This is coded in all of our mainstream, pop culture, all this kind of stuff. Where, like, for instance, in Harry Potter, when Voldemort, don't say the name and fear the name, fear the thing, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of interesting symbolism in these books. Though the thing that I was going for here is when the Voldemort character did each of those, uh, breaking his soul into pieces. That part is something that they were trying to show you, and they twisted it and made their own thing. But look at they're trying to show you, we leave a residue of our energy, is kind of a better way of saying it, in the places that we've been traumatized. We leave ourselves behind, at least a teeny part. And so when we do these quantum healing things, like you're doing in your dreams right now, Zen Light, when we're doing these quantum healings, we're going back and taking that part of ourself back into ourselves. There's no longer a victim. There's no longer a victimizer. There's no longer, there's no penance, or there's no balance, the scales needed being done. It's simply, you're giving yourself permission to no longer exist in that space by taking yourself back. And, there's a variety of different meditations and things like that people do for this. Though I found, I was taught to do this when I was like 13 by the Pleiadians. It's a thing that I was doing, and that's actually got me locked up in a mental hospital. And I told people what was happening. I was excited that this healing was happening, and I didn't even consider the possibility that talking to these, they looked like people in a lot of ways, and they were really lovely, you know. And I didn't think that telling somebody that would make me get put in a place. Anyway, they are the ones that taught me, and I've learned the easiest way, the most long-lasting and most effective way, is the better way of saying it, because you don't have to keep going back and back and back, is to go there and do what I talked about just now. There's also soul fractal retrieval meditations, and a lot of variety of things. It's more of like you're calling all of your stuff back at the same time, and perhaps it would work if you did it often enough. I feel like I just had trauma enough times. Perhaps maybe that's why I had enough trauma that it didn't last when I did like everybody, you know. But I was a trafficked child until I was 14. Between the ages of 4 and 14, I was a trafficked child. I was made to be a sex slave, and so I had a lot of trauma, right? I mean, and then I was homeless. There was a lot of stuff that happened that turned into who I got to become, and so I love that all those things occurred. Um, I love who I am. And so I have no, though in the earlier stages of this quantum healing that we're talking about, I was thinking I was changing history. I was changing my past by going back. I was redoing it because screw them, kind of thing is how I started to do it. And if that's how you're going into it with, or that's where you're going in, like in your mindset, then that's what works. That's what works. I mean, there's no balancing of the scales, and therefore there's freedom, because there's nothing that you can truly do to make something go away. It just was. It just happened. It just is. So what are you going to do about it? Are we going to be miserable? Are we going to get to move on? Now that we're in this place, in this space, the reason that it feels so uncomfortable to be a victim in the victim mentality, because we're no longer in the energy space where it accommodates that frequency. And so it feels really uncomfortable because it doesn't belong here. So to remove that and the balancing of the skills aspect, it really does begin the evolution of you. So I went on that about that for a very long time, but I feel like that was really important. So thank you for bringing that up, Sunlight. I appreciate it. Fatigue and insomnia has gone beyond a joke now, says Vegan Vixen. Yeah, so I'm kind of borderline. Like I am so like if you look at my sleeping behavior, you'd call me manic. Like it's so unpredictable these days. It's crazy. Like I've been going back into being just tired and wanting to sleep. And truly probably would have stayed in bed if it weren't for the fact that I need to get up to use the bathroom, and it's weird. But at the same time, I don't want to go to bed. When it's nighttime and it's time I can go to bed, I don't want to. Like, and I feel like a child. And then there's this conversation inside myself. There's the adult me coming through going, you should go to bed because you got to be up tomorrow to do this thing. And then there's this other part of me going, I don't care. I'm having too much fun. And like, it's really a weird thing, it's just where we are. So, all right, I should jump down a little bit. Well, let's talk. Hey, Miss G, good to see you. My fur baby hadn't ate in 4 days. She was getting lethargic, so I decided to see what I could do. That night, I did Reiki session on her. Only what I've learned on YouTube. The next day, 100% back to normal. That's such a great story. I'm really glad I was guided to click you to your comment. Thank you for showing us this. This is what is happening for everyone if they let themselves try it. Like it's really crazy. The message I keep getting, so it's loud, like it's so redundant that it's a joke now. Believe, believe, don't stop believing, all of these things. Like there was actually I won't tell the whole story because it's though it's the synchronisticness of it. Don't stop believing popped on, and then you're losing belief, and then believe and make it true. All these things as I walked through the house, and these different people were watching different things on different screens. I was like, and then I went outside and my phone made a noise, so I opened it, and what I'd been watching before on there with someone's YouTube thing, they said believe, and he's beginning to believe. It was the Matrix. It was it was Morpheus. He's beginning to believe all of this stuff. Why? Because the only difference between you and what okay, let me say this differently. The only difference between a healer and someone who doesn't heal is belief. That's it. If you don't believe, it won't work. I know. And we've been conditioned, raised to interact with the reality that we're in, that in order to believe, we must first have it proven to us. This is the scientific method, which is faulty. I've always known there was something weird about the scientific method. Every time that it came up in like science class, you had to learn it and recite it and write it out on the essay parts, a part of your test in ninth grade, math, science class, all this stuff. It was like really important. This is how you do it. If you can't create the experiment multiple times and have many people be able to also witness it, then it's not real. Like, that's what they've been teaching us, right? And so we've been conditioned, taught to not be in our own power. When you believe, just try it. Just try it. Like Miss G, thank you for your example. Just try it. Most of these practices are called spiritual technology, though they're very simple in actual act. It's simply believing it and going through the motions. It has to do with your intention. Sometimes it's easiest in the earlier stages to voice your intention, to say, this is my intention, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm anticipating doing in this space. You don't have to say, any kind of special spell, though when we speak, we are doing what is called spelling. So, in the energy, you're using your energy. Thank you for this great example. Floaty, that's right, Vanya. Good to see you, Vanya. Oh, off balance. Here's another one. Tommy says, I'm feeling off balance. That's how I feel at times. It's strange, but yeah, not dizzy. Like walking on sponges. Hey, I was saying something like that. What was it? Walking on jello. I was talking about, it was like my daughter was watching a movie, um, um, like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, something number 2 or something. And they're walking around on jello, and I'm like, hey, that's how it feels. It's like bang, bang, bang. It's very different. You know, that's actually when that first started to come in, this energy we're talking about, I started to talk about on a lot of my shows just because it's in my mind. I'm considering my belief in gravity, my belief in it's kind of interesting to consider any of these things. Why is there a belief in these things? Not to say that, anyone should to try and it's dangerous something or other. It's simply, why am I believing in gravity? And as soon as you start, your belief in gravity kind of removes a little bit, it feels like you're not using gravity. Observing gravity requires you to believe in it. I think it's really crazy. And so there's just a lot of this really fascinating stuff that's coming in. And that was the bulk of the message that I was getting right before I went live, that I had posted on YouTube and Facebook and Telegram as well. I just felt like it was important, is it has to do with that. It has to do with, oh my goodness, I just totally lost what I was going to say. So I guess I'm just supposed to guide you guys to go read it. It's really not that long, but it is channeled. Some of it is, and some of it's me. You can kind of see the difference. Like it's funny. I find it fun to not edit that stuff. Like there's no, I just start to write something, and then it's like spirits waiting for me to start writing. And I was like, oh, cool. Now you're ready. And then some other stuff comes out. And then, sometimes there's like, it goes, and then, then I start writing something, and then it's like, some more comes out. So you can see it though. It's kind of fun. If you look at it, you'll notice the parts that are me and the parts that are energy or spirit. We had Archangel Michael and Mother Mary come in through that message just briefly. It's really cool. So anyway, Sarah says, we've had a lot of clear skies in Ireland. Awesome. This weekend. So was out in the sun, and the sun had this beautiful, like a laser beam of rainbow colors shining out, or like a lightsaber. That's so cool. So you're in Ireland. This is, hey, 1, 2, 3 people here right now on between Facebook and YouTube. I keep going. That's what that means, right? This is also this area I was talking about. So Scotland, Ireland, this is a big area space. I know that there's a space between the two. This whole area though, there's a big energy that just happened. That's really cool. I wonder, I wonder if some of it is being seen by you as a higher frequency observer in the energy that you're in. There was a spike that occurred, and I forgot that I had asked Ralph about that earlier. I wonder if I skipped over his response. Um, Marty Ann says, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I'm doing." Which one? Oh, arguing. Yeah. That arguing. That's right, Lyra. That's so me, arguing with myself to go to bed. Isn't that weird? And like when I was live with Guardian and Yolanda the other last month, we were talking about the same thing. It was so cool to hear Yolanda Marie saying the same thing. By the way, this coming Wednesday, so that is a portal day. The 24th. We have Guardian of Orion joining us. Yolanda Marie might also join us. She said that she's gonna, see how it goes. But if she doesn't join us, then she'll definitely join us again at a different time. The energies that are coming in are affecting all of us really stronger at this time. And so if you do find yourself, having already an obligation, it's okay to cancel. It's okay to say, I can't today. There's been times where, I like being consistent. I would say not doing the group on Friday and because I know how many people benefit from it, not doing it for a few weeks as a result of the eclipse party and all the stuff that's going on here. I didn't like it, but I liked it. I liked just kind of canceling for a minute, but there was this guilt thing that I needed to work through, which was something that activated me through that as well. So, um, yeah. So, Angela says, as a healer, it is in your belief for sure. Exactly. And so when you can believe a thing, it's true. And, you know, we are manifesting in a lot of ways that we don't understand. Like sometimes when we talk about manifesting, we think about receiving or not receiving a thing, um, having an interaction with an individual. We think about these outside kind of things. We're also manifesting our own health. We also, we get cast the spell of illness by saying such when you're supposed to say it over and over again to people. And if you don't let them know when illness is occurring in your life, if you don't say those words, there's offense. It's a social expectation for you to declare illness in yourself. And then it is so. I observed this in my 20s and stopped doing it. I noticed it. As soon as I would say that I am, then I would be. And it would always work out to be during a weekend when I would want to be playing instead of being in bed. But then I didn't have to miss any work because the work was important to me at that time. It was a priority over the health, over everything. It's very fascinating how we shift. I went on a tangent again. Sherry, oh yes, sending love and prayers and healing light. Do it anywhere with intention is powerful. That's right. Man, the stuff we're sending out, the code we're agreeing with, pulling in, giving out, sharing. It's like everybody has a bucket of paint and there's this unending canvas and we're all just like, and they're just smearing it around. Like that's how the energy is becoming. It's all one color and it's different too. And it's beautiful and it's all of us at the same time. I've been really gassy at night and early morning for the past 3 nights. And it's funny because I have been too. It's really weird actually. And especially since I really haven't been eating. I don't know about y'all, but the lack of appetite that I've been having, I'm really not wanting to eat. I'll find myself hungry and then my daughter will say I'm hungry because we don't actually have a time. This is when you eat. It's when you're hungry. Like there's so much brainwashing and conditioning that's done around the dinner table. It's ridiculous. And so we don't behave in that way. And people have called me airy fairy multiple times as a result of the way that we are. If you're hungry, it's time to eat. And so anyway, and then my daughter will come to me and tell me that she's hungry. I'll prepare food, and then when she starts to eat, I realized that the hunger was amplified by feeling my daughter's energy of being hungry. So I was feeling her hunger. And as soon as she's eating, then I'm no longer hungry, so it's really weird. So I'll go days without eating, yet I'm still having this really weird gassy thing going on. And the sinus thing, thank you for saying this, Sissy. Terrible sinus and face pain affecting mine's the left, and no infection, affecting the right eye. No infection or mucus in sinuses. Been over a month now. Nothing has worked. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Please help. I know it is an Ascension Symptoms. Yes. I haven't had the right one. It's a little bit different. So I started to have the left one, and that one's been going on and off for quite some time, the left one for me. But now, yeah, there's been something that's been going on with the right, like the past little bit. And you're right. That's so fascinating because I was distracted still by this one. I can say, so the divine masculine is on the right side. The divine feminine is on the left. There has been for some time a distorted idea of what divine masculine meant. And so a lot of us are relearning the vocabulary of what it is to be divine masculine. Pardon me. And so we talk about action as being an outward thing. We talk about action as being going and doing when it's actually not. It's also inward. it's also quiet. It's also solitude. It's also oneness in aloneness. It's in this depth, this place that is unique to the divine masculine and body that I have not yet been able to achieve, is this place, this space that is a sacred quietness, only as a result of the ability to completely quiet the mind. Um, I don't know about the other female or divine feminine energies embodied present here. Um, but most of us, we have a dialogue going in our heads all the time. We have a narrator. There's things going through our minds all the time. When we're not even when we're not getting downloads, and so uh this so far is a quietness that I've yet to achieve, because what will occur for me is going into this oneness, this solid silence, this sacred silence. Then I'll connect with an individual, a higher frequency energy, and there'll be a conversation that will occur. There'll be a dialogue. There will be me talking. There will be these conversations occurring when I've not yet met, but I'm sure they're out there. I've not yet met a woman who could do that, and I find that really intriguing, and perfect. See, there's the balance that is able to occur now that it's understood that it's okay, that the guilt of like, oh, you're not out there chopping wood and fighting off the bandits and all this stuff, then you're not being a man. You're lazy, those kinds of things. No, this is divine masculine. This is divine masculine energy. This is inward action. This is working on self, and through self, working on all things around you. It's kind of cool. That's another cool tangent that went off on, but to understand this side, this mucus thing, um, it's related to the mucus, even when there's absence of mucus, usually. But this is what I'm getting specifically for you, Sissy, by the way, is this is related to the mucus. So mucus, as Elsa and I have been discussing for a while, it's just fascinating to discover this. Mucus isn't something that becomes, isn't something that occurs as a result of an infection. Mucus is something that is a dormant thing that does grow in mass during occurrences of discomfort, disorder, disharmony. However, this mucus is a dormant thing that does not belong in our bodies, does not serve us. And so that's why so much of this mucus is being made to move through us right now, throughout the planet, no matter the season, the temperature, the cold season, quote unquote. All of these things don't actually truly matter. What it is the mucus moving through and out of our bodies. And so parasite removal type things, as well as these other types of things where we go in meditation and remove and make declarations and heal and bring like the light I talked about earlier in this conversation on this particular live. Rewind it if you haven't heard me say it, because it's really useful when you bring in the light from all directions and make the orb of light and amplify it for this place when you do the self-healing by using your hands as well, especially your left hand. Doing this in this place to guide this stuff out in every area. This works for more than just the joints. This is self-healing. This is a spiritual technology that y'all have, all of you. Yeah. So, Adrienne, hello. Needing so much hydration, lots of fruit, so much rest needed too. I appreciate you. Hugs from North Carolina. Hey, you know what? I gotta have a drink of my orange juice. When I say I've not eaten, as you all know, I'm into orange juice, especially when I'm getting a lot of channeling, a lot of spirit coming in. I typically always crave orange juice. That's just a thing. So when I say I haven't eaten, I don't mean to be omitting the fact that I am drinking juice. I typically will drink. Sometimes I'll go a day or two without drinking juice. On occasion, if I'm not doing sessions, I don't need it as much. Though when I do sessions, I need orange juice. Now my body wants it. So I count this as one of my regular drinks. So, hello, Macy. Sending love and light from the UK. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Um, I had to clear my nose. We started talking about mucus, and now it's just really being noticeable. I think underground pyramids activating underneath. Judith 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 Cusell channeled a month ago about it. That's really cool. Thank you, Sarah. I am aware of a thing. It's 303 that there were 999,000 pyramids on this planet, and 1/3 left because they were spaceships. And so that means that there's 666,000. I find it fascinating that they're trying to use this number as a low frequency number in all of our things, that hiding 6s and 13s from sight when they're so powerful, in a loving high frequency way. It's kind of cool. But whoa, I just changed my screen for a second. Technology is acting so weird lately. All right, so let's see a question. Here we go. Debbie has a question. Is anyone else feeling super stiffness? Like I can barely walk. I feel like my legs are so heavy. I take good care of myself, but this tightness, stiffness is a new thing for me. Yes. I've been noticing this for a little while. I've been noticing it, and then realizing I hadn't had it for some time. I was like, oh, wow, I've been feeling really good. It's weird that you don't really realize it until it's gone. So yeah. And then when I do the meditation, I do daily meditations on my own, whether they're with groups or not. I don't typically listen to guided meditations. I usually channel the meditations in the moment. I don't know where I'm going when I started. I'm just bringing in the light and going into that quiet place and let it move through. And then it goes away. It goes away. It's like something that's moving through us right now. We're conduits, and this is the message that we've been saying for some time that came from a variety of places. We got it from the Arcturians. We also got it from Archangel Michael in a different way. We also got it from, there was this whole like Arcadia, ancient Greece thing that happened that was a really crazy, profound spiritual experience for me, and you got it this way. I had an inner earth being experience back in October, I think, or September. Anyway. Right now, what's happening is we are conduits like a straw. It looks like we're like a tube that's like a straw that's like put into the earth. Like remember those orange juice commercials where they used to they'd have an orange because they were trying to make you believe that frozen from concentrate orange juice was healthy. So they would have the orange and they'd stick a straw in there. And then that's kind of what it looks like. That's what we are. We're a bunch of these straws all over this orange that is, whether or not it's orb or not, the planet that we're on. I mean, I'm not discounting flat earthers at all. There's some stuff about this, there's something. I wonder if I can change my background in this live stream. I want to show you guys something. Let's see. Can I do it? Videos settings. I want to. Oh no, I can't. Not while I'm already on. Oh wait, maybe I can. Let me look here. I'm gonna show you guys this. Okay, let's see. Thanks for bearing with. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. Oh, I didn't upload it on this one. Oh darn. Can I share screen on this? I can. Okay, I gotta show you guys something. Oh darn it. I don't know where it is. Okay, I'm gonna do something better. I'm gonna find this image and I'm gonna post it. This is an example of many different ideas of what the world is like that all make everything make sense. They all go together. And it's a really cool map. It's something to consider. I'm not selling anybody on any kind of way. I'm just saying. Anyway, so let's go back to this thing. And so it's not because you're not taking care of yourself. allowing yourself to simply observe the energy moving through. So I'm going to make this go away again so I can show you a little bit easier. The energy is moving up and down through you like this, right? So it looks kind of like there's stream moving in and down, and this is like light. And then the stream, as a result of the new incoming occupancy, those who had previously taken up residence occupancy in this space are kind of being guided out, and they're doing it through you, through us, through our bodies, and so we're getting these sensations. There's also going to be a window of time where we're prophesized through this particular channel message I got that I'm talking about, where the shaking out is going to kind of amplify. A shaking out is these muscle spasms and twitches, weird. Your muscles just start to like tense up, like Charlie horses, kind of this, as well as the subtle ones. I've actually started to get the I one on occasion where it's like right here. And I remember before, back in 2020, when we got that activation, it went from here to here. And this is over days. It was this one forever. And it was just started to get really irritating. And then it was like gone. You're like, oh, thank goodness it's gone. And then it would be over here. And you're like, oh, it jumped. And then it would be underneath for a few days. And it went along. And it had a progression where it moved. And this is happening. Something like this is happening again because I started getting it now. This together eye. The shaking out that's occurring has to do with, it looks like, okay, I don't even know what this thing is called, but we're in a field, like a wheat field, and they have this screen thing, and it's got like a wooden frame around it that's kind of tall. All the way around, there's a screen at the bottom, and they put all this wheat in there, and they go, and they're shaking out stuff that they don't want. And that's what we're doing. That's what they're saying we're doing right now. And so when you start to feel these vibrational sensations in your body, or you start to get Charlie horses or quivers in your body and things like that, this has a lot to do with what they're talking about. The shaking out apparently is also referenced in the Bible. I'm not as versed as many in the Bible, in any religious document or doctrine. I have some experience and understanding of it, not enough to know this reference. So anyway, it's something they're showing us. It's happening. I'm also understanding that the reference in the Bible is a little bit more full of fear than it needs to be. And so just keeping that in mind, if you are aware of the part of the Bible I'm talking about, going in there with removing things like fearing God. The word fear God was supposed to say love. There was words that they changed on purpose. Like it's like, you get to have all these things and everything, by the way, and then all of a sudden someone else writes in, unless you do this, and then you're gonna go into a lake of fire forever. And it's like, wait, who was that? It was a whole different voice. You could tell it was a whole different someone else writing that. And then all the great things are going to happen, and you can open up all your 7 chakras. We'll call them seals because they're all closed. So the 7 seals are going to open up, and then it's going to be really scary, and there's going to be a big dragon that's going to get you. Like, come on. So using your own discernment. I do not mean to mock anyone or any religious body. I am not mocking anyone. I can see parts of the doctrine or the writing that was written by some other frequency. I don't know who was the person who wrote it, but I can tell you that it's easy to see what resonates. I remember as a very, very young person, they were trying to teach me the Bible, and I remember thinking, if a God is unconditional and loving, like the God that I know and interact with, then why did he make everybody cut parts of their penis off with sharp rocks? They didn't have knives back then. Why did all this, I love you, burn, fire, water, it didn't, it was very inconsistent. And then as a person who's more aware and able to ask the questions of spirit, I see now that there's also another character that was probably somebody at that time that used a different, that was translated as being this someone that they're not, more than once throughout the Bible too. So there's another inconsistency. So anyway, I rambled on about that for a little bit. But I'm right, says Lisa. Flick slow, rolling on the floor laughing, genius things. Yeah. I mean, I love everybody and I respect everyone's belief systems. I really do. And I was raised Mormon, man. Like when it was time to get baptized, there was a big thing because I didn't want to, I didn't ever agree to it. I ended up getting tricked into it when my little brother was being baptized. But that doesn't count. Anyway, there's a lot to what all these religious and spiritual writings have that are useful for us. It's simply using your own discernment. None of these things are meant to be, you don't have to take some of everything off of the buffet table. You show up to a potluck, right? And it's time to get the food. And there's like a whole bunch of different kinds of things. Like, I guess it's like one of those weird, like all you can eat kind of places that have like 200 different dishes or whatever. You're not going to put everything on your plate. You're going to take what you want and leave the rest and not feel guilty about not wanting the green lime jello with carrots floating around in it. You don't have to judge yourself for not wanting, the funeral potatoes today. You're set, but you can pick what resonates with you. It doesn't mean that table's bad. It doesn't mean the table holds all things that you don't like. It just has some stuff that you're going to leave behind. In particular, any jello that has foreign matter in it. That is one of the things about living in Utah that was really hard for me to comprehend. They were putting like olives in there, and they were putting all kinds of stuff. They're like, here, not only are you going to eat this big jello mold that I made, but I'm going to also put vegetables in there, and not even the good kind. We'll put green olive. And why are olives in jello? What happened? Who thought of that? Like there are some things you're like, who was the first one that thought of that? Like the first person who decided that they were going to squeeze and utter and drink the white stuff that came out of it. Anyway, I'm getting silly. There's 144 people here right now. That's really cool. This number has been shown over and over and over again lately. And this is a code. That's not an actual number from what I understand. It's not 144,000 people. This is base 144,000 higher selves is a better way of saying it. Because the base, it goes up instead of down, and so you go up and because we came down, now we're going up and we're merging with our higher self. And then as our higher self, we merge with our higher self, and we do it throughout life. And we're just doing it a lot faster right now. It's like to think, and you're like doing this, maybe not that quickly, obviously. All things in spirit, all messages in spirit come in as, cliff notes. So it's really sped up to show you something. As an example, I do have to get going because I do have a session coming up. But as an example of one of the things that many people are aware of, very rightly so, we are having a solar event that is that is upgrading us. The difference between what I understand this event to be and many others are talking about it as being is the event is told in the Cliff Notes format. Cliff Notes is a condensed way to tell a longer story quickly, right? And so this solar event is now. The solar event started in 2020. The solar event is occurring with these solar flares. This one we're still getting impacted with. this energy that's still coming in, that geomagnetic storm that jumped from a 0 to a G2, a G3 in no time flat. They call it a cannibal CME, or a cannibal solar flare. The reason it's called this is what's happening. This is the second one. I've never heard of this before. This is the second one that we've had in, I think, a week and a half. I have to look back to be sure. However, what's fascinating about this is what will occur is a large CME or solar flare will leave the sun. And we always think of it as leaving like a ball shooting out from the sun, right? But it's actually more like, excuse me one second, please. It's more like a barn, a arc, a bar, like an arced bar. And as it leaves the sun, it's like this, right? And so anyway, as it leaves the sun, this one was pretty large. You know, it's pretty good energy. And then another one left right behind it. Enough behind it that usually what would occur is the previous solar flare would hit us, then the other one would hit us or would impact us. And then we would feel it and then feel it, you know, that kind of thing. What's actually happening now, this is the second time it's happened so far in this short window of time, is the flare that leaves the sun after comes to it and absorbs this other flare that's ahead of it. And then because it's coming, it's stronger somehow, right? But then this is what's even more amazing, is that rather than simply doubling its size or taking, you know, 3 plus 5 or whatever, you know, and the strength of that they are, it ends up doubling in size and more. And so then that geomagnetic storm that's coming is like, and it looks like a percussion wave when you see it. Like at least what percussion waves look like in Hollywood, where when you see like it looks like camouflage ripples in time and space. That's what these look like. When they come, it goes woof, and it comes off from a base point of impact. When you go to, I use a particular website I want to show you guys, and then I'm going to have to go because this is a useful, it's called spaceweatherlive.com, spaceweatherlive, one word.com. And if you scroll down lower, you can see, I think you'll be able to see if, maybe if I go like this. Darn it. Okay, it's here on this side here, right here. This right here shows you the map of the planet, right? And this is showing you exactly where impact is being had the strongest. And this is where it's really starting and blooming out. The bar on the side here will guide you to see, like lots of times this red won't be there if we're not getting any impact. Above here, you get to see what the sun looks like with filters, so you can actually see, look at these flares coming out. There's a little cover so you don't, you know, you can actually see what the sun looks like. This reports the series of different flares that we've gotten. This shows you the strength over the most current 24 hours and I think 72 hours. I can't see. I think I have it backwards. But I'm just showing you all. This is really useful. And this is just a free website. I find it fun to use our solar flare, our solar eclipse glasses to look at the sun, because you can actually see solar flares leaving. So if you can kind of start feeling it, and a lot of times they'll report, oh, one's getting bigger, you can actually go look at the sun and you can see a boop on one side of it very, very clearly. It's cool. So anyway, I love you all so much. I would stay longer. I have a lot more. I feel like that needs to come through, but the same two fields merge, more light. Hey, Elsa, I love you, girl. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Ralph. World News Today is really good at solar news. Hey, Ralph, did you ever answer my question? Because I think I missed it. I got to get going, though. So, Joshua, yeah, we're so ready for acceleration. Yeah, I love you all so much. I got to get out of here. So the website is hold on. Space Weather Live. So the word space, weather, live. And that's all one word, And it's just a really useful site. It helps you to kind of like, just keep an idea what's going on. There's another one that it's called NOAA. So you type in SWPC dot NOAA dot GOV. And this is also a free resource that shows you the same types of things. Though I find that I use the previous site more often just because my curiosity has more to do with where the impact is, so, and this one requires a little bit more understanding, and they use like they use the scientific verbiage, and I'm not that fluent in legalese, or I don't want to be. So anyway, I love you all. I got to get going. Know that you're not alone, and we're all dumping in this frequency together. So we're feeling like we're dumping out our bucket of paint on a big giant canvas to share it and become a new color, more back to what we already are. And you got this. All right. I love you all. And I will see you live on Wednesday. This time we'll be going live at 12 p.m. Central Time, and that will be 10 a.m. Pacific Time. It's a little bit earlier than normal, so we can accommodate having Guardian from Romania, and Yolanda Marie may be there. If not, she'll be joining us soon after. I love you too, Elsa. It's good to see you. Much love to all of you. I love you guys.